Put a big X where you want that one drain to be. You're going to draw a line from one fence to the other through that X.
Okay. I mean, we should probably do it at the lowest point, right?
Yeah, I think it's probably...
That's the worst X ever made.
If you pan over there, you'll see that we've got this giant hill as well as the slope coming all the way down from the street. So we get literally hundreds of gallons of water that come through here every time we get a decent rain. And it just causes all this buildup against the fence, and you've already seen the swamp that the backyard could be as well. So there are two different kinds of drainage system that you can use. One is a surface drain, and the other one is a traditional French drain. And they both do a little bit of the same thing. So for a surface drain, what you do is you come to your lowest spot like we've got over here, and you dig a hole a little bit deeper than this is tall. This is called a catch basin. And it's called a catch basin kind of because it catches water, but actually because the basin part extends down below the level of the piping, so it catches debris and sediment in the bottom of it as opposed to in the pipe. And it's got a grate on top, and so all your water goes in through the grate. The debris, mostly leaves and stuff, are kept out, and then the water can go through a pipe that we connect and be evacuated safely somewhere else. Now that means that you can use two kinds of 4-inch piping. This stuff is flexible. I like it better than PVC, but what you'll notice is some of these that you buy is flexible, but it's solid. There are no holes in it at all. And all it's designed to do is to move water from one place to another, okay? But this kind has little slot perforations that are cut into it at regular intervals all the way around it and all the way the length of it. That's traditionally what's used in what's called a French drain. Now, it'll take surface water and move it just fine, which is, what we primarily want to do with this. But in addition to that, what happens with these slots, if you're familiar at all with the way water works, the ground acts like a sponge and it absorbs water. And so sometimes here in Mississippi, we'll get 4 or 5 days of rain in a row. So the first couple of days, the ground fills up, it can't take any more water. And after that, the sponge is full, you put any more water on it, it just runs. So what this does is, as that ground level water rises, it's actually going to start to seep up into this pipe from below through each one of those little slits. And then once it's up there, obviously it can go down the pipe and be evacuated safely somewhere else. So we're doing that just so that we can A, move the surface water off of this area and stop some of the erosion that we've got going on, but B, also so that this stuff will dry out much quicker and we won't have mud for days and days and days after a rain. And hopefully that might even allow us to grow some grass or other kind of ground covering in this area.
You're on.
Okay. So we've actually got 3 different kinds of shovels that we're going to use. We're actually kind of lucky. Thank you, Ripley. Hey. We're actually kind of lucky in that we don't have grass here. If you were cutting through grass, you don't want to destroy your lawn or destroy your grass. So what you would do is get a squared off shovel and carefully cut out squares of the sod all the way along your trench. Take all of those off first, and then be able to dig. So we won't have to do that step because all we have is dirt, mud, and leaves. So I like a nice standard shovel, spade shovel, to dig the places where the catch basins are going to be. Because they have to be a little bit deeper and a little bit wider. But our actual trench for the piping really only needs to be a little bit wider than the 4 inches wide that our piping is. So if we were to try to do that with this shovel, we're going to have way too wide of a trench and we're going to have problems. So that's why you get a narrow trenching shovel like this that allows you to cut a much narrower trench without having so much space on either side. You really want the bottom of your trench to be kind of smooth and flat. And so that's where this one comes in. You don't have to have this shovel, but boy, it's nice. Because of its low angle, it just slides right across the bottom of your trench and won't really bite in very much and just helps smooth the bottom of that trench out very conveniently and easily. So it's a nice one to have as well. First, I'm just breaking up, big chunks.
Yeah.
And roots and stuff. And then once I got that done, then I'll come back with the smoothing shovel to refine the downward slope.
That makes sense. Alright, so what are we doing with these rocks, John?
Alright, so this is going to go underneath to kind of spread the weight out a little bit and to help with settling. You don't need a whole lot.
You're going to put...
And that just sits right on top of it. And we'll fill in with dirt around the sides. What I'm checking for now, though, is our trench deep enough, right? So, and if we look right here, this is down below that hump, so I'm going to have to take a little bit more out there. And we like for this to be as level as possible. So, you can get a little small level to double check it, but you can usually just eyeball it. There. Now I'm going to put this hose down there, see how it looks. I'm not going to feed it under the fence yet.
Well, that makes sense.
For now, I'm just checking the depth of the trench. Make sure we got a good starting point. Yeah. Alright, so once we have that in, I think we'll be alright. And then we just got to keep going.
Good for it.
Deeper. You want to have at least a 1% slope. And that'll just help the water in the pipe drain better. Stay. Yeah.
It's an unwanted helper.
It won't be too long, and I'll have that in deep enough under there.
You put it?
Roots, you can cut them with a shovel. This is not a smaller root. So this is just a reciprocating saw. It costs like 25 bucks from Harbor Freight. See, I mean, it just cuts like butter. If you were trying to do that with a shovel, you'd be there for, 20, 30 minutes.
Oh yeah.
But this one you can see is going right across where we need our trench to be.
Because this is just straight up mud. Look, it's like
Yep.
so gross. Alright, so I've got a level.
Alright, so if you want to make sure it's sloping the right way, right, you got a little bubble in there. We want the bubble to be that way so that it's sloping down. See how the bubble moves?
Right.
So,
I don't think it's sloping down.
I don't think it is either, but I just want to show you. Alright, so you might be able to, can you see it with the camera?
Kinda, not really, but that's okay. Most people know how to use a level, I think.
Yeah, so what we want to do with this flex tubing that we got, one end is flare to accept the other end inside so we can connect them together. And that's pretty secure, but just to be a little bit more secure, I got some small machine screws. So we're going to drill a hole with the drill and then put a little machine screw in to fasten them together more securely. That way, because we've got so much clay in the soil, we get a lot of expansion and contraction. So there's a lot of up and down movement and side to side movement. And this will just help ensure that these won't ever come apart, ever. So that's good.
Awesome. So next step is taking the pipe, which is already muddy, and putting it in the trenches. It just pushes right in there.
Yep.
Now it is time to drill.
Yeah, you don't need a very big hole. You don't even want to do a normal pilot hole. You just need something so that the screw doesn't have to eat through the plastic to get started. That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. And then we're going to do that at each junction all the way down.
Our pipe has to inset into here, right, by about that much.
Okay.
Okay, so if we want this here, we don't want to cut right at the end here. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay, so if I cut right here, how's it going to grab? See, it's got to be, it's got to go in that far.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So
you're just
then
gonna
what I do is I hold my knife up from that edge, and I see that I actually need to cut it right here.
Okay. Oh, wow. That really does just cut with a knife. Of course, that's probably a very sharp knife.
Well, yeah.
I'm just saying that for the viewers, because they don't know
Sharp is safe.
that you sharpen your knives constantly.
So it's going to push in here. There we go. Just like that.
It popped in really easily.
Yep. So this is that smaller all-purpose gravel. foot down to give a stable base.
Just for the basins.
The catch basin.
And for this job, we only got 1 bag of that.
Yeah, because we only have to split it between 3 catch basins.
Right. This is the muddiest job that hopefully we will ever have to do.
This will help keep debris and animals from coming in the other end.
Right. And that just pops right on the end like everything else.
Yep.
Need a lot of rocks.
You don't need a lot of rocks. The rocks really just do 2 things. They help hold it down and they help spread force. So if you run over this, this is rated to a certain weight that it can bear. But if you run over it with a wheeled vehicle, you know, that concentrates a lot of that weight in one spot and it could crush the pipe. So,
And that would include like for mowing and stuff.
right, so the rocks help spread that out. And then also help just support the dirt to keep it from becoming too much of a problem. Some people think that you got to put rocks underneath, and that doesn't do any good at all. That does nothing for you as far as trying to absorb moisture from the soil.
So we got these pond pebbles from Home Depot.
That's one of the reasons why you don't want your trench to be too wide. Because if your trench is much wider than your pipe, then all the rocks just fall on the sides of the pipe,
Right.
and it's a waste of rocks.
Also, a waste of energy.
Yeah, for sure.
Shoveling has not been fun. Well, the smaller trench is now covered in rocks, so it is time.
Yeah, we just got this landscaping fabric, and it's much wider than we need it to be. We only need it to be as wide as the rocks are, basically. So we'll cut it to length, and we'll probably just cut this in half and fold over any excess that we have. And then we'll throw some mud on top of it to hold it for now so the wind doesn't blow it away. And then we'll do the same thing all along the trenches.
I'm sorry, did you want to go to the fence?
That's all right.
Well, we have covered everything back up with mud.
Yeah, and these lumpy spots will smooth out this next week as we get a lot of rain. We're supposed to get rain every day this week.
Okay, well, this project is done, so thanks everybody for watching, and we will
Thank God. This is my favorite project that I never, ever, ever want to do again.
We will see you in the next video.